on the MLS. For those of us who are listing agents or who would love to be listing agents, I find, as a listing agent myself, that many times I would be, at the property, you're excited, you're talking to your clients about their next step, what they're going to do. You're just excited to be there and be part of the process. And, you're looking around at the home and, you're just, maybe you might take some simple notes as you walk through the house, whatever, 4 bedrooms, uh, blinds or shutters or, this, that, or the other, you're taking some general notes, but not detailed enough. So that way, when you get back to your office and you go to input the listing, it's asking you, what type of fencing does the property have? And you're like, was it brick? Was it wood? Does it have, any lighting or, I mean, whatever the case is, the important thing is a listing is only as good as the person who's inputting the information. So if you're searching in the MLS for properties, a lot of times your clients are pretty specific. They want to know, is there RV parking, or is, maybe they put 4 bedrooms, but there truly isn't 4 bedrooms. Like, there's just a lot of things that as an agent, if you're doing the research for your client, you want to make sure that you're looking for, details that maybe your client mentioned as a buyer. So as a listing agent, it's important to make sure that you're inputting all of that information, because it'll eliminate people, coming to see your home that won't necessarily be interested in viewing it. I mean, right now we're maybe not having that issue because we are, we're selling it so fast and everything else, but it's just good to get in good habits. You want to create those habits. So no matter what, type of market we're in, you always do things and be more efficient. The whole thing is you want to show up as a professional, and you want to be able to, to make your job easier ultimately. And thankfully, the MLS and our boards and, the National Association, the, California Association of Realtors, they look for products to give to us as agents to make our jobs easier. So this is just another free, option that we have available, and I highly recommend that you guys do this. So the best way is when you go here, when you log into your, your dashboard of the MLS, this is basically what you're going to see. So underneath the CRMLS resources, under this blue line here, there's a tab that says brokers. So you're going to select brokers. And when you select brokers, up here, it says listing input forms. So these forms are life-saving. It really, really is. So you're going to click on that. And then here it lets you know that you have the option, depending on what you're doing. Are you doing a residential? Are you taking a manufactured listing, commercial lease, residential lease, land, whatever it is that you're doing. So it has all options, which is great. So typically we go into residential. So we're going to select residential. And when we select residential, this is what it looks like. So I'm actually going to go into, let me see if it lets me do this really quick. I'm going to share my screen again, but I have to pull up a different screen. So can you guys see that? Okay, perfect. So this is what the residential matrix listing input form looks like. And for those of you who've never seen this form before, it is exactly how you data enter your listing when you take it. So this form it's really simple. You could actually do it, and then you can pass it to someone else who has no idea about real estate and just does data entry, and they're able to enter everything in there because it's exactly formatted for the way, you enter in a listing. So what you want to do is you want to use this form. You want to definitely make sure you save it in a place, I mean, you can always log into the MLS, but you can always keep it downloaded somewhere where it's easy and accessible when you need it. You have the option, depending on your client, you can take the form with you. You can, when you go to your listing appointment, you can have it printed and hand it to your clients and ask them to help you fill it out. They can answer the questions. If I do that, I would highlight the areas because there's so many questions on here that they're not going to know the answer to, or they don't actually input that information. So you just want the information that they would know. So highlight those areas if you're handing them the form to fill it out. The beautiful thing about this form is if they do fill it out, you can have them initial here at the bottom saying that they filled it out. So that way, again, anything you input on that listing, came from the seller. So you're basically transferring what they told you about their home into the MLS. So you can do it that way. The other thing you can do is just how I have it. I currently have it on my laptop, but if I walk in with my iPad, it would be editable just like it is here. So if I'm with my client and we decide on a 450 sales price, then I can do 450, and then I'll type in everything, the county it's in, the city, and I'll keep going, whatever it is that I need to know. So obviously property address, everything with the asterisks is a requirement, just like it is in the MLS. But I recommend, even if it isn't a requirement, as far as when I mean, here, beds, baths, and all this stuff is definitely important, but more so when you go into the, down here into the features, because like interior features isn't a requirement, but maybe there's certain things that are important for you to put in there, because again, the more information you have, the better it is. So if this particular home did have block walls, and then I want, I'm going to do that. If it has built-in features, like there's a built-in bookcase or bookshelves or TV, chest or what have you, and it has ceiling fans, and maybe it has high ceilings, there's granite counters. So I'm gonna mark everything possible. Or again, remember, if you're with your clients, they can do the same thing, and you could even hand them your iPad and tell them, here, just mark everything your property has, and just make sure when you're done that you review it with them, make sure they meant to mark certain things, because you can accidentally mark the wrong thing and it happens. So you just want to verify that everything that they marked is, was right. And the nice thing too is they live in their home. They know more about it than any of us. So it's going to be, filled out pretty nicely. I don't know how many times you might leave and you don't know if the home was on septic. You didn't ask about solar, because again, we're in the moment, we're excited, sometimes we're not thinking about other things because we just can't wait to get it listed or do other things. So this form will help you stay on track and make sure that you are asking all the relevant questions and the important questions, so you're able to disclose up front. So again, you're just going to go through the whole thing. And the nice thing about it as well is at this time, they're going to tell you, well, yeah, you know what? I do have, ceiling fans, but I actually didn't want to leave them. I wanted to replace them. I wanted to take them. So this is the oh, okay. Glad you mentioned that. Is there anything else you want to exclude from, in the property? So let me go back here really quick. And that's actually on page 2. So here, on the description is usually when I ask them, is there anything in particular that I need to know that you want me to highlight about your property? So if they say, yes, I want you to say that my home, was completely remodeled 2 years ago. So you can just put that here, sorry, I'm trying to do this. Oh my goodness. Completely, what the heck? Okay, completely, whatever. It won't do it, but, remodeled, 2 years ago. And so I remember when I go back in, they're going to say, okay, we have an electronic gate, because maybe that's not on here. Electronic gate, you know, backyard, landscaping has certain, something special or something. And so that's where you can write notes about whatever it is you're going to write when you go back to the office to write your full-on description. If you keep going down here, here's where the exclusion and the inclusions are. So depending on what they tell you the exclusions are, maybe they don't want to leave the stove. Maybe they are taking something that's mounted on the wall that, that they want. So, and they're not going to have it removed by the time the showing starts. So here's where you would do that. And then obviously the inclusions would be, maybe they're including, their washer and dryer, um, and what have you. So again, here is where you would put that as well. So that way you remember when you go back, to do your inputting. And the other nice thing about this is it also gets into the school district. A lot of times there's a lot of questions we don't ask, and maybe we're not sure. Again, they live there, they've raised their kids there for the most part, so they're familiar. So you can ask them that as well. How many, or what's the school, high school, junior high and elementary school. So you can input that information. The other nice thing is if they have any remotes for the garage, is there remotes going to be included in the sale? Do you have that? Here's where you're going to mark that as well. So like I said, there's a lot of different things that we just typically don't ask when we're in the listing, or we don't know. Geesh, again, here too, are you going to leave your Ring doorbell? Do you have a, alarm system? Are you in a contract? Like all of those things, again, are super important, because what I see is a lot of times agents are in escrow and then they're like, is the Ring doorbell included? Because my clients want it, but the agent's saying they're just going to replace it and put on the same doorbell that was there. So all of those things are important, because a Ring doorbell is attached to the property. So it could typically be considered, to be transferred with the property unless otherwise advised. So again, those are important things. The other thing too is homeowners association. If you don't want to get back to the office, and then now you're inputting the information and you're like, oh shoot, I didn't ask them what the association fee was. I didn't ask them the amenities that are in the association, or I didn't ask them who the association was, because you need a phone number and the name of the association, community. So again, all of that information is super important. So I really, really hope that you try to incorporate this form with you. So that way, again, when you show up, you pull it out and you're like, no one knows this property as much as you do. So if you can assist me in completing this report, so we can make sure that, we give all the information to a buyer that's necessary. And trust me, they're impressed, like, wow, okay. So don't think it's too much to ask for, because it's not. Or like I said, if you want to do it yourself, you're welcome to, do the inputting yourself, and then just having them review it and then initial it that they did go, they did do it with you. So obviously the back pages, you're not going to have them fill out, as far as the buyer comp and, listing contract date and all this good stuff, but you are going to go down here to showing instructions. So how do you want your home to be showed? Do you want it by appointment? Do you want a lockbox? Do you not want a lockbox? Do you, whatever it is, here's a time so you can make notes and decide, it's by appointment only. And then, it's occupied by the owner. So that's where you're gonna put all of this information. Okay, so again, the key thing to this is when you're done, this is just the very beginning of it, but it's making your job so much easier. So if you have an assistant or you have someone who helps you, all you have to simply do is share this, right, Jessica? You share this with them and they are able to input the listing for you. And that way, like I said, it's not, Sonia, did you know if this had this? Sonia, do you know if this had that? It's filled out in its entirety, and they're able to just get you from A to Z quickly. Okay, so does anyone have any questions so far about this form?
I have a question.
Okay.
Typically, how long does it usually take you to go over this with the seller?
Maybe 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's honestly really, really fast. You can, if you're new at it, just, you don't have to worry about like the first page where it's the address and all that stuff. It's more focusing on what the property has, what's being included, all of the little details that, like I said, we're in a hurry, we get excited. So we're just like, and then we get to the office and we're like, oh shoot, now we have to call them.
Yeah.
So I just think you just show up so much more. Maybe it might take you 10, 15 minutes, to do this. but I think it's definitely good. And not only that, let's just say sometimes you go to a listing agent or a listing appointment and they tell you, you know what, we just kind of wanted to see more or less what we were thinking, but we're not ready, to list just yet. And so then I usually have a folder, a Remax folder, with this, with a couple pages of a CMA, with my resume, some information about, selling process. And then I will attach this in there. And then, it's highlighted and stuff already for them because I do this just in case. And I tell them, okay, no problem. You know what? I have homework for you anyways. So, when you're ready, please make sure you guys, review this. And it's important for you to have it ready so I know more details about your property and, I'm able to market it, to the best of my ability. So let's just say they go to interview other people. It's like, if they don't show them that form or they don't ask, they might even think like, well, how are you going to know about my home if I didn't get this form? So I've had that happen. So you just want to be prepared and just show up, 100%.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have any other questions so we can move on? Okay, so just remember, keep it handy in somewhere where it's easy to find. So this is again the form. So pretending I have this form and it's filled out, right? So the next step is going to be to go into
MLS.
yeah, into the MLS, but I'm trying to see because it's saying sharing is paused. So hold on. There we go. Okay. So it's telling me I have to log back in. Great. Okay. Sorry guys. I thought it would let me. Okay, so we all know how to log in. So when we go here into the MLS to input the listing, again, we have the form in front of us. That's our hopes, right? To have that form in front of us. So we're going to go into add and edit. And then here we're going to add new. And then we're working on residential today. So here we are, residential. Now you have different options. So up here it says fill from tax, copy my listing, start with the blank listing. Now I always start from fill my tax because it gives us a lot of information that's already it's already pre-inputted into the from the tax, it gets imported. So the only time I would use copy my listing is if, let's say I had the home listed before and now they want me to relist it, maybe a few years later. I've had a client sell, a month later, things happen like that. So you can only copy your listing if it was your listing before. So you're able to import all of the information, which is nice and it's handy. So, so that's an option. The only time you're going to start with the blank listing is if you can't find it on the taxes for some reason. Maybe it's a mobile home or it's not listed. It happens. There's certain areas that just the way that they are, they don't come up in the realist tax. So then at that point, you're going to have to start with the blank listing. So here we're going to go into, we're just going to create a listing. So I'll go Riverside, and then you could either use the parcel number or you can use the actual address or street. So let's see here. Let me see. I think is it 8608? Jessica, I'm going to use this one just as an example. So I'm going to search for this property. Here it is. So it showed up. So again, you already have that paper in front of you. So if your client said, no, my home is actually 4 bedrooms or it's actually 2 bedrooms or whatever the case is. So you're going to compare what the tax says, opposed to what you have in front of you from your seller. So here you're going to fill this in. You're going to select fill. And it will auto fill, all of what it is that you're doing. Now, depending on if you're doing a coming soon or if you're doing an active. So that means active, it's available for showings. Coming soon means it's not available for showings just yet, but it's advising everybody that it will be available, and then you advise the date. So we'll just make it active, and we'll go here to the basics. And again, remember that form looks exactly like this. So you're looking at that form and you're putting in the exact price. So here's the form. I'm gonna go down, you know, to input it exactly as it says. And then, you're going to find the MLS area, placing your pin on where the at home is located, make sure it's accurate. And again, you're just going to go down and down and down. And if you notice, a lot of the stuff is filled in. Now here, if you notice that your bed count or your bath count is different, or your square footage count is different from what the taxes to your client say, right now it says assessor because the assessor is who gave us that information. But if your client says, no, 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 it's actually 1,800 square feet because when we bought it, yada, yada, whatever the case is. So then that's when you're going to go in here and you're going to put seller because you got that information from your seller. So always remember that's super important. What source did you get that from? And then you're going to mark standard, and then you're going to go on to the next description. This usually takes me the longest, so I'll usually pass it by until the very end. But I'll put in here my exclusions and my inclusions. If there's a lot of information on my exclusions, like let's say they say, I want to take the playset, I want to take this, I want to take that. Like there's just a laundry list sometimes of things, then I will just put, ask agent, per listing contract, something like that. So that way they know that, hey, let me ask her to see. And obviously I'll put it in my counters. So don't just assume because you have it here, it excludes it. It needs to be in your contract. So always make sure you add it to your contract as well. Okay, so then we're gonna go to the next thing, which is features. And like I was mentioning here, it's beautiful just to breeze through this part because this is the part, like I said, if you don't have that form, I don't know how many times a lot of you may have say, oh my gosh, is the laundry in where? Is it in the garage? I don't even remember seeing the dang laundry. Like, you know what I mean? So you're just trying to fight with yourself to remember. And it's nice to have all the information. It's like, you know what? It has an individual room, it's inside, it's on the upstairs, level, and it actually is a gas hookup. It's like, that's beautiful. Instead of, it's in the kitchen or something, just one mark. So it just gives a lot more information. And then here too, room type, is there, and how many times do you have a client who says, I'll take a 2-story, but I want a 1 bedroom downstairs at least. So if the agents don't fill this out, you're not sure. Like you're going to see when it says all bedrooms up. Okay, sorry, that's a home they're not going to want to see because all the bedrooms are upstairs. There is not one downstairs. So then obviously that would be excluded from, the homes that you're going to show. Or there is another one where it does say, there is a main floor bedroom. So there's a bedroom downstairs. So again, to me, this is really neat to fill it out, as best as possible. Same thing with the the uh gosh, what is it, disability, the disability features for people who are disabled, who are in a wheelchair. So this is important to fill out too. Is it accessible? Because maybe you have someone who is, and most agents don't fill this part out, and you have to, either try to get a hold of the agent, or you have to try to figure it out, or you have to show many homes that aren't going to be, for your client, because it's not a required field. If you notice, it's not highlighted, so it's not required. But again, the more information you put, the better. Same thing here with bathroom features, fireplace. You can give a lot more information, not just, it's in the dining room. Is it gas? Is it electric? Maybe it matters to some people, maybe it doesn't. Common walls, that's an important feature. Is it attached to another, wall to another house? And view, the lot size or lot features, community features, if any. So again, you're just going to go through all of this as much as possible, try to fill out everything that you can. And then go to the next, which is land terms and land and terms, which like I said, if you imported it from the realist tax, it already has all of the tax information, which is nice and it's helpful. Here on assessments, a lot of times I just mark unknown, even if it says on there what it has, because things can change at any time. And to me, it's always important for the buyer and the listing agent, obviously, to do their own due diligence. So I never put none, even if on the realist it shows none, I don't ever put none. I always put unknown. That's my personal preference because I don't truly know. I don't live there. It's better if they want to know that they investigate that on their own. And so here's where the HOA information goes in. You want to fill it out as much as you can. So, what amenities did they tell you it had? Make sure you mark every single one. And then here's the school information. Like I said, this gets passed a lot. A lot of people don't even touch the schools, but schools are important to a lot of people. So if they're looking homes up by a school district or by a certain school, your listing's not going to come up because you don't have it filled out. So again, that to me, that's important. And then also here, possession. If you're not sure, then it's negotiable. Just put negotiable. If you've had that conversations, typically when you need to leave, what are how much time are you guys going to need? Like, you should know that, because when you get an offer and possession is huge, we should already know, like, that's not going to work for my client, or it is. So this is a conversation that you should have while you're listing the property as far as possession goes.
Sonia, I have a question.
Yes.
I'm just curious. Where do you get your information about the school district, about the schools? I'm just curious.
I usually ask the seller to tell
Mhm.
me who it is. If they don't have kids and they don't know, then I want to say, hold on, I have an app on my phone. I think it's called Great Schools.
Greatschools.org.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If not, then I go to greatschools.org. Yeah, it's an app. So you can go on there, and then it gives school ratings too and gives you a bunch of information. So
Okay.
yeah, if you need that, you can go there. Because that does happen. They're like, we don't have kids. We have no idea, who the schools are. So, and then the next thing that I do is, obviously come here, fill out your compensation, buyer's comp, whatever you're going to offer them. Is it a percentage or a dollar amount in dual variable compensation? And basically what this means is, if it just asking you, if you are a dual agency, does a compensation change? That's what that means. So, in other words, if you're going to offer a lower commission to your client if they double end it, because some will say, well, if you have both sides, will you give me a break? Some agents say yes, some say no. So, depending on what you say, you're going to mark yes or no at this point. Or maybe it doesn't matter who represents, the amount is the same. So, if it's the same, then you're going to put no, because it doesn't vary on who helps who. And then you're going to make sure your listing contract expiration and all of that is filled out completely. The most common service is full service. So you want to fill that out, and showing contact type. And we're going to do another class on showing time. That's going to be one of our next classes. So I'm going to talk to you in depth about showing time. A lot of agents don't like showing time. I love showing time. Again, I'm all about effective, efficient, what can be done for me. It makes my job easier. And I don't know why people don't like it, to be honest. I think sometimes people are afraid of certain things. But we'll get into that on the one of our next classes about showing time. But here, showing contact type, you're going to mark whoever it is that you're showing, whoever it is that you contact, which is typically the agent. Most owners don't want to be bothered. And then you would write, the name or what have you. And then showing instructions. Again, this is a conversation you would have had with your sellers at the time of listing. How do they want their home showed? Is there a lockbox? And what are the entry requirements? One of the things that I highly require, or highly recommend, is a CBS code. For those of you guys who don't know what a CBS code is, it is a code that is call before showing. So the reason I do a CBS code is because there's so many agents who do not call ahead of time and just think they can show up because they see there's a Supra. So I never want my client to be walked in on unannounced. So with the CBS code, and when you let them know, you need to send me your PED and, you know, have a confirmation before you get a CBS code, you're going to make sure that everybody does what they're told, because they know that they cannot use that super without that CBS code. So that is super important as a protection to your clients. And then you can always change on your Supra, um, you know, what if there's times, because they might say, I don't want anyone to come after 6 p.m. or I don't want anyone to come before 11 a.m. or I don't want any showings on Mondays. So you can program your Supra key so that way the box does not open. So make sure that you're talking to them and having those conversations, because the last thing you want is for them to call you upset that someone walked into their home unannounced, and it happens. So just make sure that, you know, you do that for them, for their safety, especially now. Um, and then here, order of description. How do you want the agents to contact you? You know, we always hope and pray that they're going to follow the rules. But, you know, all we can do is try, do our part. And then down here, it's up to you if you want, you know, where you want your listing to be displayed. I typically leave it as yes. The more exposure it gets, the better, because of course your clients are looking. They're seeing where their home is, you know, on the internet. So you definitely want it to be, you know, synced as many places as possible. And then here in the private remarks is where you're going to put any information, obviously, that is strictly to the uh, the agents directly, where the consumer doesn't see. So, you know, where do you want your, you know, your offer sent? Any information. Um, I have typically the same verbiage on mine every single time. So, and I'm gonna let Jessica jump in just a minute, but basically, because she's the one that inputs, so that way she can show you what she does from here. But basically, it's important to always protect yourself. And then here in the remarks would be any additional information if maybe someone has passed in the house, or if, you know, anything that may be like the, you know, the roof is leaking, they're selling it the way it is, like they know that there's a, you know, hole in the walls in the house, but it is what it is. So that way, this is just information that you want to make sure that you're not going to get a zillion same questions on. So typically what Jessica does for me is once she inputs all this in for me, she will save it down here. If you notice, it says save as incomplete. So she saves it as incomplete. She lets me know, Sonia, your file has been saved as incomplete. I then go back in there, verify everything looks good. I fine tune anything that I need to. I look at the photos that she's uploaded, the video, I make sure everything is good. And then at that point, I will make it live, you know, when it's ready. But that's that. But I'm going to let her tell you how she, you know, because obviously she's the one that puts everything in there, because I do add supplements on every single listing as well. I ask for an offer cover sheet, and, you know, to kind of give me details about their offer. And then also right now, because of COVID, we are, you know, we do need to be in compliance with COVID. So we do have those listings or those forms uploaded as well. So Jessica, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. If you want to stop sharing your screen so I can show mine, and then let me get my screen up. Okay, so don't mind my screen. It's a little bit hectic, but I do have her cover sheet. I wanted to show you exactly what her cover sheet looked like and what I do add to the supplements. So I do add this poster, and then I do add this offer cover sheet for her so that they could fill out and give back to her. And then we have them respond to these questions as well as these questions. Sorry, I keep getting messages. But that's what I add on her supplements. And then like she was saying, if she saved it, then I should be able to see it right here. Your incomplete listings.
Oh,
Maybe it's not refreshed. Let me log off and on. We got a new window going on. Log in. Sorry, guys.
it should be there.
I think because you just made it, there's a little bit of a lag, but okay, we'll get there. View visible incomplete. Okay, there you go. So I was in the wrong one. It's visible incomplete listing. So if you do have an assistant or someone that helps you out with this, or if you save it and need to find it anyway later on, you can go straight into visible incomplete listings. So then when you click on it, it goes right back into the transaction. It looks like this, and then there's options at the bottom where you can edit, manage photos, or manage supplements. So this is where you would go to start adding all your pictures. So your pictures do have to be downloaded onto your computer so that in order to upload them back into here. And then here is where you just manage the supplements. So you're gonna need a description. And usually I just put listing supplements. You can put like required listing supplements, whatever you want. You should also put it in the comments just that they know. And then you look for it on your desktop or wherever you keep it. Where is it? Hold on.
Right there, cover COVID. You
Cover
have
sheet and supplement. So I already have it titled so that I could find it. But I have so many documents. So, and then you have to hit upload. Make sure you upload it. It doesn't do it on its own, and then you can get out of it. You have to upload it on there. And then again, right here, the description, you can label it. You can label it whatever you want. My required listing supplements, and then you save it. Make sure you always save it. It won't save unless you click it. If you exit out, it does not auto save for you. And I like learned the hard way that it does not auto save for you. I also wanted to talk about the private remarks and hold on, let me go back. I think I'm going too fast. I also wanted to talk about like the private remarks that are right here and any details. I have a specific thing that I have for Sonia that I put in all of her listings, and then she goes back and she edits it. Oh, and you can find it right here. When you edit, and then you're going to go back into residential. And then on office. Okay. So right here on private remarks and on showing instructions, I usually keep a note, like notes on what I have for her. Let's go into my notes and pull it up so you guys can see it. I don't think you guys can see it in. Sorry, I have so many notes. Okay, well, I can't find it, but I don't want to hold up everybody.
I think
I'm
that
just
the
going to do
key thing
this.
is just to have it somewhere you can find it. So that way it's easy for you just to copy and paste. Just like I said, just to make your life a little bit simpler. So you're not having to, type it in every time. And then maybe you might miss something. So the key is on your notes or where, you know, whatever computer or anything that you use, make sure you have, you know, on a notepad, you can put on there, you know, private remarks for listings. And then you can just go back and forth and make sure that you copy and paste whatever it is that you need. So that
And
way
you
you,
can copy them. Sorry, go.
no, just so you can copy and paste it and it's easy to, you know, to input.
Yeah, and like she said, I sometimes if I don't know why I don't have it in my notes. It might not have synced. I usually have it on my iPad or on my phone, and messages not synced. But you can always go back to your old listings as well. And what I just do is I copy and paste it where they're supposed to go. So private remarks, and then I click here. I always have that. Looking forward to working with you. Email offers, Sonia Real Estate Broker. Please include attached offer. This is where she states it. And please include attached offer cover letter, pre-qual letter, FICO scores, verification down payment, closing costs, offers to be completed with agent and broker DRE license numbers. Please email any questions, buyer and buyer agent to verify all permits and additions with the city. Now, if she wants to add something, she can always go and edit it and put it before, kind of maneuver it around. You're going to know exactly how your listing is going to be handled. So I usually put that as a standard. I save it under my notes tab, and then I copy it whenever she has a listing. And then for the showing instructions as well, I usually have this on there. Shown by appointment only. Please use showing time to set appointments. Please do not show up without an appointment and follow all COVID guidelines and PED via email. And then that way she can go and insert the rest like she had on the other one. Like showing appointments will be from this and this, and she can add any other details that she wants. But the easiest way to do it is to copy these and put it on your notes tab. Let me see if I can pull it up. I have my notes right here. Can you guys see them?
No, we can't see the notes. It's fine because you have to share it. So it's fine, but like she was saying, you can put it anywhere depending on the device you use. Just come up with verbiage that you feel, because like I said, a lot of times we forget certain things. So we just want to make sure that you're putting, even if you over put stuff, it's better to take it out than to under disclose. So over disclosure is always good. And then also, I know there's a place on here for contingencies. If it says if there's a contingency, if there is one, make sure you put that, because again, you don't want people to see, you know, you don't want anyone to be looking at your home if they can't, you know, they can't entertain a contingency, or if they're not open to it. So that's just to disclose that there is going to be one. But remember, you need to put it in your contract as well, you know, with the form, with the seller, you know, replacement property, because you want to make sure that it's in contract and there's an agreement between all parties, that they understand, you know, how long you know, the contingencies in place. So that's, again, we're going to be going over each and every form that you can possibly think of from now until the end of the year. So that's our goal, is to train you guys on each form individually, and get into depth on each form, to make sure you guys understand, you know, and why, you know, each form is important. So here it is. She's showing the listing. Here's the showing instructions on what to put in there. Again, just make your job a lot simpler. I can tell you, I love taking listings, but this was honestly the drag for me, was to input it into the MLS. It's what I dreaded the most, until this form, you know, I became aware of this form. And once I did, I didn't mind it at all, because now when I got back to my desk or got back to wherever it was, I was able to input it. And now that I have, you know, Jessica, who's on, you know, who helps me, it makes it even that much easier, because, you know, she's able, it's like she was there with me at the appointment, although she wasn't, but it's like she was, because she has all the information that I have. So it makes it super simple. And like I said, it's someone who has basic knowledge. It's a data entry form. So If any of you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm going to start looking at the chat because I do see that there are questions in the chat. So Josie, hello, once active, are we able to modify, update anything? Yes, you can modify at any time. So you can go in there, and if you need a lower price, if you want to change price, if you want to change commission, if you want to change anything, you can change it. The only thing you cannot do is cancel a listing. And it's not that it can't be canceled. It's just the broker of record is the only one who has access. You can place your, your listing on hold. You can place it on withdrawn, but you cannot cancel. So your listing is active, meaning it's available. It doesn't mean you don't have offers. It just means it's available. Now, when you put it on hold, typically it's because maybe the seller says, you know what, give me a few days, I'm not ready, or for something like that. Or maybe you're reviewing offers because now you have 29 offers in a weekend. So if that's the case, the best thing to do is to go into the private notes and put no more showings. We have 25 offers or whatever. So we are reviewing them and we'll know. Now, if you're getting a bunch of offers or a bunch of activity, and to eliminate all the calls, go back in there, use it to your advantage. Go back into the private remarks and put, have received multiple offers. Cutoff time is this date. We'll be reviewing this date. So that way, again, people don't call you, how long do I have? And can I still show on this date? Because you'll be surprised. Some people schedule way ahead of time. It's what day were you in the office, Brenda? Tuesday? And they're like, can I show your listing on Saturday? She's like, I got 16 offers already. I'm going to go negotiate in a little bit. So
yeah, and it was Monday. They wanted a Thursday appointment.
Yeah. So it's like, honestly, right now it is so tough to be a buyer's agent scheduling appointments. It really is. Because with COVID, because everybody's giving you 15 minutes or so increments. So for you to map your place, put it in this order, it's crazy, but we're going to do a class on that too. So we're going to show you, try to help you to schedule and plan your day a little bit better, make it hopefully a little bit easier. So I'm always looking for fast, fun, and easy. So when it comes to work anyways. So,
So I have a question.
yes.
I missed this at the very beginning. So that the listing input form, do you just save it to the PDF, app, and then you annotate it, or how do you fill it in?
The form. So you can do you could do it a couple of ways. You can print the form and take it with you to your listing, and you can highlight, what questions you want your seller to answer. So if you want, I can actually send you guys a copy of the form highlighted. I can highlight it on my PDF just to show you. If you want them to fill it out, just depending on your client, like if they're not really savvy, they can't see, they really can't understand what the questions are. It just, you're going to have to gauge it. But typically what I do is I will fill it out on my iPad. So I'm talking to them and I'm telling them, okay, I need your help in answering these questions so I can market your home to the best of my ability. So I'll ask them, are you on septic? Are you on sewer? Do you guys have sprinklers? Are they automatic? Are they on a timer? I'm asking them all these questions. And at the very end is when you can tell them, okay, can you review it? Make sure everything looks good, from your tablet. And if they think it looks great, then you can actually send it to them via DocuSign for them to sign it. So that way you're in agreement to whatever's put on there.
That's what I mean. Like, how do you make it? Because I'm seeing it, but it's a read-only file. So how do you make it editable? Do you transfer it to another app so that you can annotate?
I transfer it to PDF Expert. If you have it just on, it shouldn't be a read-only. I'm not sure how you downloaded it. It should be editable. I'll forward you my link and it should be the same. So you should be able to open it, but I use PDF Expert. That's where I export it to, and that's where I fill it out.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, or like I said, you can, if you're more comfortable, just print it and have them fill it out, or you can help them fill it out with a pen and they can just sign at the bottom with the pen. And so you have, a copy of what you guys went over.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, if that makes it easier, because sometimes, you know, if you're not very comfortable with the technology, just do practice. But if you're not comfortable, always have a backup plan and just have a couple copies in your, you know, in your bag or whatever, just so that way, if you need it, you can pull it out and it's easy. And
Did you show them where it was located at too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. Because it's
yeah,
on their
it's
car
under
website.
MLS under brokers, and then it's under the MLS input forms. But
Yeah.
but we'll send you guys a copy just so you have the PDF. And if you ever, you know, just need to get, that's why I said you need to save the PDF. I don't know. Some people have places where they save stuff. I love using Dropbox because Dropbox syncs to all my devices. So I like to keep my stuff in Dropbox personally for like anything extra. But if you don't have PDF Expert, but if you have PDF Expert, then you can just simply keep it in a file on PDF Expert. So it's just really however it is that you know, you have how you store and what devices you use. Okay, and so Lupe asked, are you copying and pasting from outside the CRMLS? Yeah, you can. You can put it on your notepad, like we use Mac computers, so we have notes, and on there you can have, you know, all the information that you need and just put listing input. That way, if, because it's obviously the more notes that you keep putting, it's going to go further down, further down, further down, but the search bar is going to allow you to put listing and then it's going to pop it right back up. So that way it's right there for you. You click on it, copy and paste, and just put it, you know, into where it needs to go. Like I said, it's just all about trying to make you guys more efficient and getting it done, you know, as fast as you can. Okay, so does anyone else have any more questions?
I did. So I took a listing for my Rancho listing, and Laura and I got it in escrow before it even went on the market. But my seller didn't want me to put it on the MLS because there's a tenant in there. So I told her, I'm going to have you sign a form that excludes the dates that I took your contract, because it's a different date from the day I'm going to put on the MLS. But when I'm going to, like, let's say I want to put it in today on the MLS, am I putting the contract date or am I putting today's date? Because doesn't it flag them?
You change the date. I don't think it's going to allow you to change the date back. It's not, because it's going to say it's barely inputted today. How could you have a contract then? So I don't think it's going to allow you to. I've never had a listing excluded from the MLS, but from my understanding from the class that I took, when you do have one, you're still supposed to input it. And there is a box that you check when you input that says exclude. So it doesn't basically like go live, but it's in there. So it gets counted as, you know, days, you know, like stuff gets counted with it. But my suggestion would probably be, if you don't want to call the board, they can probably input it for you, since you did have that form excluded. Did you send them the form or no?
Not yet, because I don't have she didn't want me to put it in. So I told her I have to put it in. The only thing that I was going to say is, if our contract started, when we took the contract, we're in escrow. So does that contract reflect any of these dates?
Yeah, well, just so you guys know what you're supposed to do. I mean, we'll figure it out, Brenda, don't worry. But what you're supposed to do is, when you exclude a listing from the MLS, you're supposed to email, or I don't know if they have a fax or email, where you send that form to them, to the MLS. They're supposed to have it on file. So that way they know, because if anyone sees that home was in escrow or what have you, marketed in any way, they can complain and say, this home was never advertised. I didn't know that this home was for sale. So you just always want, and they're going to look at the address and they're going to say, oh no, we have a exclusion form on file. So don't, she's in compliance. But I believe, I want to say it was 48 or 72 hours from the date that you took the listing, if it's going to be excluded. So we'll just have to go back and,
can I have my seller just sign a new contract, a new listing agreement?
Yeah, you can probably do that.
But
It
even
asks you, when you put it on sold, it'll ask you what the date of the purchase agreement is as well. Just FYI.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's figure it out. We'll work on it. But typically, just so you guys know in the future, if your seller is going to exclude it, just make sure, because it does change, but just make sure for the most part, you have them fill out that exclusion, and then we can confirm with the with whoever your board is, if there's anything that's changed.
well,
But just make sure.
she didn't want it excluded. She just didn't want it up yet until the tenant was out, because the tenant isn't getting out until February. So I took
Yeah.
her listing, but then we took an offer on it before it was even on the MLS.
Yeah, no, I think there's a way we can go about it. But what I'm saying is there is on that exclusion, it does say for how many days. So
Yes.
yeah, so it does say, is it excluded exclusively? Is is it excluded for 30 days, or you can write in a date. So if we would have had that date, we could have sent that to the board and just letting them know, like, hey, this is an excluded listing until, like you're saying, the tenants are out. But like I said, we'll fix it. Don't worry. We'll do what we need to do. So we don't want no one to get fined. So
Yeah.
so anyhow, does anyone have any other questions or anything about listing input? I have a question. If you could tell me how many of you guys do currently use the listing input form?
Didn't even know it existed.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
but I see a lot of agents do, and I like it when they do.
yes. Yeah, no, it's a great tool. So, well, I hope you guys really use it, and please provide your feedback, on the next time you go on a listing, share, how it went, and let me know if it did actually make a difference, when you got back and had to input it, and how things went. I would love to hear your guys' feedback.
I can give you some feedback right now,
Okay.
Sonia. I recently took a listing and I do use the form, and it is such a lifesaver. It's a time saver as well, because it gives me a guide to just ask the questions, and I do highlight the ones that I need to answer right away, and that I need and I know that apply to their property just based on looking at it, and being prepared for the listing appointment. I see that it's a newer home. I kind of understand that it's going to have all these features, and so um, it kind of makes us look smarter too, because we're asking all these great questions.
Yeah, it's absolutely true, because they're thinking like, I didn't even think that even to tell you that, what I
Right.
mean? So it does bring up certain things, that, that normally like I said, before this form existed, I would walk through the house and take my little notes of, oh, it has ceiling fans. Oh, it has cathedral ceilings. Oh, it has hardwood floor. Oh, it has this. Oh, it has that. But then when you get back, it's like, does it have sprinklers? What type of roof was it again? I'm looking at the pictures, I'm trying to figure it out. So it's like, why am I doing that? Why are we doing that to ourselves? It's,
Yeah.
again, you're having those conversations with your clients. And again, the more they see that you're into it, the more they see you're there to help them, the more comfortable they feel with you.
Right.
So, and
even
don't
things
forget, they're looking at what you put on the internet. They're looking at your photos. They're looking at your description, and they're looking at, hey, why did you put that? I have sewer when it's septic, or what have you, whatever it is. And you're like, oh my gosh, really? How come you only put, I have 2-car garage? It's a 3-car garage. It's tandem. I didn't know that. You're looking at the pictures. So again, all those things represent you.
Mhm.
So, we're here to definitely, everyone already thinks we're overpaid. So we're here to definitely earn our money.
Right. Yeah. RV parking is always something that I would forget to ask about, especially if it's in a community, a planned community, or like the one I have right now. They're detached homes, but they do have a community. And, it's just little details um, make us stand out. So
Absolutely.
thank you. Thank you for sharing all that.
Absolutely. Okay, does anyone have any other questions? We're good to go. Okay, well, I'm excited for you guys. Like I said, I love when you guys, have an aha moment and, it's going to help you in your business. So that's the key to what we love to do here. So if you guys don't have anything else, thank you guys. Have a beautiful afternoon.
Thanks, Sonia.
Thank you, Sonia.
And we'll see you guys next Wednesday. Bye.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Bye.